Traction on Demand is a Salesforce consulting company. We do implementations from small size companies all the way to enterprise level.
Before using GearSet, we were using ChangeSet, which is a tool part of Salesforce platform, and it was very painful, very long.
A lot of hair pulling, a lot of screaming, a lot of crying.
You had to recreate the package each time. You couldn't clone a package.
I could see deployments taking upwards of 2 days, battling through errors like, oops, forgot this, didn't find out until the change set had arrived.
There's just so many things that you can't do with it.
No, such a painful moment. I love using GearSet, it's fantastic. It's a very powerful tool, and it allows to do many different things that were not possible before.
The time saved with GearSet is really understanding what is being actually deployed.
I tell new people it's like turning on a black light. You can just see everything that's different.
GearSet allows us to more stringently look at what the XML is, what are we actually deploying, what are the permissions.
And from there you can decide that's relevant, that's not relevant. You can spot things you've forgotten about.
I think it really enables new people to come on and have this user-intuitive tool so that there's less time ramping up and there's more time doing the work that they need to be doing.
How many hours has it saved me personally? I'd say could be thousands.
It's definitely a time saver, and it will help you sleep better at night.
Definitely, you have to be more creative. As you said, there is no beginning, there is no end. But how do you understand what would be the good quality, where you would get the satisfaction of it, right? So for that, you need to understand your customer, who are your user, what you are basically trying to deliver. You have to work very collaboratively with your product owners and with your developer not just to understand the story, but why we are even building the story. Also to figure it out, what are the right use case to test. Because as you said, we have a short time. My team gets hardly 8 days of testing functional regression, running automation, doing any other UAT prep test. So in 8 days, we basically have an average of 60 Jira ticket. That's, I'm giving you example of one of my team, the sales team. So how do you do that? So you have to be working from a day one. You don't have a time to, now sit, chit chat, or this is a prep time. We are doing multiple things together. We are doing in-sprint automation. When we build automation together with the development, we do test case writing. Once we know the requirement is pretty clear, we work with BSAs. We work with a timeline, and we work with the incremental releases, where we don't wait for every tickets to get done. We start testing as soon as something is we can test independently. But it does require a lot of coordination, and that's why my role and my job is safe, right? I do all those kind of planning, bigger level of planning, how does our release automation would look like, how we are going to work with other teams, right? Salesforce doesn't have any standalone releases. We release with MuleSoft, we release with ERP, how we are going to test, what we are going to test. So these are the main factor which plays a key role, work proactively, work closely with the other stakeholders, knowing your customers, do in-sprint automation, do the risk analysis also when you don't have enough time to do everything. So be very transparent what you can test and what you can't test, because you don't want to give an assumption. Someone told me, I'm sorry if I'm giving you this example, but this happened. We had a P0 bug, and I got a mail from my product owner, and he said, oh, I thought you were doing the regression. I said, yeah, I am doing, my team does a regression, but unless you don't call out a specific test case, even if I have an automation, we get 2 days for regression. So do not assume anything, and that's the whole reason I try to tell my team, we have to be very transparent, very transparent what we are running as a functional regression and automation, so we can define the scope and the risk accordingly. So every release we have a risk also. We have a great automation and functional testing done too, but we have to be very creative, very collaborative with other teams too.
You talked about having great management buy-in when you arrived and were looking to implement testing. But then some of the things you're saying there are actually about having a buy-in from developers, from other colleagues.
It's not mostly about buy-in, it's bringing the innovative ideas. As I said, I don't bring any idea on table which says QA needs to do this, QA wants that. My always statement is, if we do it this, if suppose I gave you the example, right? Regression. Like I told my product owner, I'm happy to do as much as of regression if you would specify to me what exactly you want. So it's not like I'm saying no to them. And you also know that they also realize like they just can't say do the regression for 2000 test cases when you have like 2 days for release, right? So it's become very collaborative effort, right? And then when you do this kind of collaboration, same for automation, right? I never promise for anything to build 100% of automation. I never do that. I said, we will strategize, we will share the ideas with you, and we will take a plan ahead, but there is no 100% automation is ever happening. So don't assume those things. I'm being very transparent. Like if someone says, oh, you run regression, I will just sit down with them and show, oh, this is what we are running. And you should be aware of it. Just do not label the thing functional regression, what it is, what we are doing it. So being transparent about it and get everyone involved. Like, this is a testing would look like for this release.
It's very much testing on the front foot, as in, not being embarrassed that you're a tester, for example.
Yeah, no. And we don't have this blame systems. In 3 years, I only got one email, which was very recently for the regression testing, but I never received those kind of emails too, because I try to keep the process very collaborate and take a responsibility. Also, if QA missed something, I just go and say, hey, we missed it. And for the next release, we are going to do those kind of improvement. So things resolve. Like I don't go behind developers or product owners saying, oh, because we missed it because there was a gap.
We just happen to, I don't know if any from any clients from you had problems with the new release, the Winter 21, but we did. And actually Elements helped us to figure out what happened. So this is a great scenario for us, and with Elements and own backup, we were able to solve it like in probably like 2 or 3 hours, and that was very quick for us. I can make a business case and say, hey, this is gonna help us keep everything tight and clean, and we won't have these problems anymore because we're gonna be able to keep it cool, keep it casual. We took longer to get to the tools. That being in the tools took us to figure it out. We were pointing to another problem. We thought it was something else. And then we said, this is not the problem. It's not the middleware. The debugs logs for that, they don't have an error. So I said, oh, we have Elements, we have own backup. Let's run the softwares and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. Elements, we didn't run anything. We just went back to the email for the changes of the night before. Yeah, this is it. Just go own backup, restore, done.
We're basically helping home sellers out there to be able to more easily and more conveniently sell their homes. My name is Gavin Wong, and I've been with Zillow for about 6 or 7 months now. And so I'm the Senior Applications Analyst here. basically managing the entire Zillow Offers Salesforce org.
So our old process used to be like, so everybody create the change set. Like we didn't have a deployment, like a release schedule or anything. So like, oh, you finished this product, let's deploy it.
It was pretty rocky. Yeah, we used, for a while, we used a single sandbox for development. We used, I did a lot of code reviews in Notepad and, using random diff tools, and things were messy and, very complicated. The big challenge we ran into is our org has gotten so large that our change set deployments were taking up to 9 to 12 hours a lot of times.
And we had deployment times up around like 8.5 hours, 9 hours. If it was really, really bad with a lot of code, it would be, double digits. So that was really, really troublesome. Alignment with the other team members of deployments was always a huge problem, and you could pretty much only do one deployment a day. So it was very, very troublesome. So we were looking at ways to try to bring down that deployment time, and GearSet was one of the items that we implemented. And the impact of it was pretty awesome. So it brought it down, I think, upon first implementing it, brought the average deployment time down to like an hour, I think it was. So it was a huge change, which was really nice. So now we can do multiple deployments a day, which is significantly easier on the team.
So with GearSet, it made it a lot easier because we linked it up to GitLab, and we would track the changes and deployment history from the exact time of when we started it to when it was finished, all on the ticket. So that really helped a lot, just for tracking changes, and then also being able to roll back changes if we made any mistakes or anything. So that was very helpful.
From the admin perspective, I would say it's really flexible. Being able to select just what you need, and and mainly saving that time and not doing the post-deployment configuration.
Just being able to easily connect your org in GearSet and then just click a couple buttons to deploy the changes. I think that's what really stood out, and that's where I see the immediate value for it. Definitely improved our team's release management process a lot. And so, GearSet makes it very easy to just make deployments. And especially when you have to deploy to multiple sandboxes, the time saved just drastically increases a lot. And so overall, it's a huge time save, and really enjoy using it.
If your business is ready to grow and you don't want everybody configuring in production, it's time to move off of change sets, and GearSet is a good option.